Yeah, so I wanted to ask for anyone that is watching back home for us, but they're home, like in the US, Europe, anywhere. And a lot of people are losing their jobs these days, unfortunately, with the whole situation. And they may look outside. Is there any opportunities for graphic designers that are foreigners in China? What do you think?
Oh, I think for sure. I see, I'm on LinkedIn or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I constantly get barraged by headhunters. People are always looking for Westerners for graphic design.
Is it for like the big cities or anywhere?
Anywhere.
Really?
Yeah. Of course, the big cities have more, but...
What kind of qualifications they're looking for? Like someone just graduated, maybe worked 1 or 2 years in the States.
I think somebody like that might be an uphill battle unless they really met the criteria.
So you mean they're looking for more experienced?
Yeah, I think so.
What is the advantage of having a foreigner doing graphic design for a Chinese company?
Well, not all these companies are Chinese companies, though.
But being the fact that we're in China and Chinese graphic designers probably earn less, what would be the advantage of having a foreigner in your team as a graphic designer?
Well, English is their first language, right? So anything you're dealing with, obviously all the packaging, POP, any manual writing has an English section, right? English, Spanish, and French. Sorry, but the average Chinese designer doesn't know French from English. They wouldn't know which language. This had to be Spanish, they have no idea.
Wouldn't it be easier if they hired like a teacher or just a foreigner who speaks the language instead of somebody who's specifically studied graphic designer and they have to pay for that education that he got in that specific?
There's other aspects, right? There's every day there's some sort of a issue that comes up where you got to make a command decision that you don't have time to wait 12 hours to deal with your U.S. office to make that decision. You got to make $1 million decisions sometimes.
So when they get a graphic designer, a foreigner, and first of all, you say this is their first language, English. Not all of them. I mean, they can come from anywhere, right? But I know what you mean. And when you get a foreign graphic designer in China, I guess you mean you get a graphic designer plus a proofer.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
that's an advantage. So if someone is let's say 30 years old and he's been working as a graphic designer in other countries for a while and he's good and he comes here and finds these jobs, how much can he expect to be paid? Do you think? Like what's the ranges? It depends on the city, I guess. But
yeah, I think the bigger cities you can get more money, obviously, because like rents and everything else are more. But I would say at least. My guess would be like 30,000 RMB,
which is about $5,000, almost $5,000 a month.
Yeah, and usually you're in a lot of the cases you're like a consultant, so there's no taxes, right? You just that's a huge advantage.
So it's like clean,
depending on the country you're coming from.
Right. So it compares pretty well, right, with what they get in the West, at least nowadays,
and particularly the lower cost of living here. That makes it even more attractive, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Okay, talking about this theoretical person that wants to come here, what are some of the skills that you think that are important for somebody wanting to relocate?
I think you got to be as varied in your industry as you can, right? You should know how to do, 3D rendering as well as regular graphic design as well as, web design.
Right.
The more well-rounded you are.
Exactly.
The more valuable you are.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, I see some of these job descriptions and like, nobody studied all these different mediums in school. I mean, that's just unbelievable to ask for that. But there's people out there that have done it.
Mm-hmm.
You mean in experience, not necessarily studied at school, but they experienced it in various.
Yeah,
positions.
exactly. They ended up doing it all, right? But
right.
They just had to learn in order to keep up with the field, right?
Right.